instrumentation of UV visible spectrophotometer. First of all, the principle involved in UV visible spectrophotometer is absorption. This instrument uses electromagnetic radiation such as UV and visible light to analyze the colorless as well as colored samples. And the samples may be of pharmaceutical grade chemicals or drugs or maybe some food products. And the principle involved here is absorption, as I said. The atoms or molecules that are present in our sample will absorb the UV or visible radiations, and they will go from ground state to excited state. And from that state, the molecules will absorb some electromagnetic radiation. And with the help of this instrument, we are going to measure how much amount of the radiation was absorbed by our sample. And with the help of detector, we are going to detect the transmitted radiation. So from that, we can indirectly measure the concentration of substances present in our solution. Okay, let's do a role play of the instrumentation of UV visible spectrophotometer today.
First part is light source. It provides both UV and visible light sources. UV 200 to 400 nanometer and visible 400 to 800 nanometer. It provides high intensity radiation. The second part is entrance slit. It is a narrow opening in the optical system. It allows the narrow force of light and it controls the amount of light into the system. The next part is collimator. It aligns and makes the light rays in a parallel fashion. The next part is collimator. It aligns and makes the light rays in a parallel fashion before reaching the monochromator. Without it, the light rays would scatters up and measure the radius. So call it as personal trainer, light source personal trainer. The next part is prism and grating. Prism is photometer னு சொல்லுவாங்க. இந்த prism வந்து two types இருக்கு. என்னன்னா reflective and refractive னு சொல்லுவாங்க. Refractive வந்து அது வந்து same direction இருக்கும். angle மட்டும் change ஆகும். Reflective வந்து அந்த light direction வந்து reflect பண்ணும். இப்போ grating அப்படினா என்னன்னா அது spectrophotometer னு சொல்லுவாங்க. Grating வந்து two types இருக்கு. Diffraction and transmission சொல்லுவாங்க. Diffraction ஓட நானோமீட்டர் வந்து 0.1 நானோமீட்டர் னு சொல்லுவாங்க. இது வந்து more resolution இருக்கு. The next part is collimator. We form the image of entrance. Collimator. We form the image of entrance.
Part of the collimator is the exit slit. It allows the monochromatic light to fall on the sample.
Sample set. It is otherwise called as cuvette. It is either rectangular or cylindrical in shape. Its material is made up of glass or quartz. Glass is used for colorless, colored compounds, and quartz is used for colorless compounds.
Next one is detector. Detector is anyways used to do conversion of light source into electric.
The instrumentation of UV visible spectrophotometer consists of source of light and then prism or monochromator and sample cell and finally detector and readout device. The source which may include tungsten lamp or xenon discharge lamp or hydrogen discharge lamp or deuterium lamp, and we can vary the sources for different types of instruments because UV visible spectrophotometer was initially a colorimeter, and in that colorimeter the mostly used light source is tungsten because it provides light radiation in the visible region, and in photometer mostly deuterium light source is used, and in recent instruments also deuterium is used because it is less expensive and it provides 3 to 5 times more intense radiation than the hydrogen discharge lamp. And then next to that is prism or monochromator. The filters that may be present in colorimetric instruments, because the filters were supposed to filter off the unwanted radiations and allow only the intended radiation to pass through. But the purpose of monochromator is to convert all the polychromatic light radiations into monochromatic ones, and hence in spectrophotometer the monochromators were used. These monochromators consist of many parts, that is entrance slit, collimator, and then prism or grating, and then another collimator and exit slit. And after this monochromator we will have a sample cell. The sample cell is something that is supposed to hold a sample, and the sample cell vary in different sizes and materials, and dependent on the solution we are going to analyze we can change the sample cell. And final one is detector. The detectors are supposed to convert the light radiations into electrical signals. The detectors may be photovoltaic cells or photoemissive tubes or silicon photodiodes, photomultiplier tubes and PDA detectors. So dependent on the instrument, the detectors will also vary. Thank you.